Hello my lovely people and welcome back to my channel. Sorry for the not posting. It got a little crazy. So I decided to skip my second Mania update, and this will be update number, well, now it's 2, it was supposed to be 3. So I've got 6 or 7 or 8, I don't know, somewhere in there, pieces to show you, starts to show you, and yeah. So we'll just jump right in. So the first piece for this update, which was the 4th of May, may the 4th be with you, was Starry, A Starry Star Wars Night, which is a parody of Starry Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh, and it's Star Wars themed. So I did this much. That's a couple strands of 310 black. So we got a start. We got a decent start. A few hundred stitches. It's going well. Unfortunately, I can't use Pattern Keeper for this one. It was just not working. It was not uploading correctly. The page breaks were doing this weird thing where instead of cutting out the 5 overlapping pieces, it was adding in additional overlap. I don't know what it was doing, but it wasn't working. So that's that. And then on the 5th was Spanish Diamonds, and this piece looks like this. So it's this beautiful jade, and then I'm doing it in these pinks. There you go. That's the darkest pink, and I can't get far enough back. But basically, all I've been doing is the outline. So got all the way around with one side of the X. Now I'm doing the other leg of the X, and I'm about halfway back on that one. And I don't want to be putting in lines because I don't really want to. I want to not mess with this. This is silk. I don't want to mess with it as much as possible, so I'm using my little unicorn pins. These were part of the So Sampler box from Fat Quarter Shop. I don't really use pins this big very often, so, but they work for this. This is an 18 count jade Ada from 123 Stitch. And the pink silks are from the Silk Mill. They're in southwest France, I believe. So there, I was worried it would look like a watermelon, but I don't think it does. I actually think it looks really pretty and not watermelon-y at all. So that was the 5th of May. The 6th is was the first start of my Peacock. So, this is actually needlework canvas, needlepoint canvas, and I'm stitching with rayon flat ribbon. Didn't like the coverage with just one, doing tent stitch, just doing one leg of the cross. So I'm doing 2. When they tell you at the needlepoint shop to go ahead and use the needle they give you, go ahead and use the needle they give you. I lost this for, the majority of the day stitching, and so I was using a smaller needle, and it was not fun. And then, but I was like, oh, it's fine, it's just a smaller needle. Like, it's not creating big holes the way it would if you were using a bigger needle. But then I found this, and so for the last, up here portion, I was using this thicker needle. Oh my goodness, it was so much easier. It was so much easier to stitch. So much less hassle. I still hate rayon. Rayon is the devil's thread. I mean, goodness gracious, I hate rayon. But, you know, it is what it is. So we've got a lot of the purple done. It's 4 more of these little triangle bits on all 4 sides, and then just little groups that are kind of little things like that. And that'll be done with purple, and then I can move on to the blues and the greens. So that was from the 6th. The 7th, which should have been my next update, I got a good amount done, but I wasn't able to film on that day, and so I was like, oh, I'll just film the next day. Well, the next day ended up being crazy. I know what happened. The next day was the day my mother came into town, and I ended up having to get her from the airport. Which, not a big deal, but it did eat up most of my day, and my mom has been stuck in New Orleans, because she works down there, and then she comes home typically every other weekend, but since all of the craziness has started, she hasn't been home, and it was 2.5 months since she had been home, so, she hasn't seen my apartment, and so I was cleaning my apartment and trying to get that done. Didn't totally get it done, but it's in a much better state. The only thing I have left to do is one corner of what should be my kitchen, but is actually my crafting area. And that's the only thing that's not put together. That and the desk in my bedroom. We'll get to that. But anyway, that day was Envy, my second Heaven and Earth design, and this is how much I got done. Doesn't look like a ton because this is like teeny tiny fabric, but it is several hundred stitches, and it was really fun to work on. It was this beautiful teal, so it was a lot of fun. And this is a charcoal gray linen that I'm doing all of my Heaven and Earth design. All of my Heaven and Earth designs. All of my 7 deadly sins on. Alright, so the next day was the 8th. That was Friday. And that was supposed to be Drawing Hands, which is an MC Escher. That didn't work out because I couldn't find the fabric for it. I don't know where it went. I thought I knew where it was, and so I didn't look for it until, right before. But I couldn't find it, which is going to be a problem because I have another piece that I'm going to be starting that was also supposed to be using that fabric. Can't find that fabric. Thought I knew where it was, but I don't. I don't know. I was like, I can't spend all night looking for it. I have to drive to the airport really early in the morning. So I decided to just take a piece of fabric that I had already set aside for another project and go ahead and start that other project. So that project was Operator Malfunction. It's a Heaven and Earth design. It's adorable. And it totally fits me, because that's what I feel like doing to my computer sometimes. Hitting it with a hammer sounds like a great idea sometimes. So, anyway, while I was at the airport waiting for my mom, I went ahead and started the piece with all of these leaves up in the corner, and here's the start of one of the books, and I went ahead and here's another book, I think, and then this right here is part of the computer screen. So I got a lot done. On Pattern Keeper, I think it was close to 1,500 stitches, which is a ton. I didn't know how the traffic was going to be going to the airport, because in the state of Georgia, we're still open. We've reopened because our governor is not the most intelligent person in the world. But a lot of businesses are doing the smart thing and are not opening again. So I didn't really know how the traffic was going to be going to the airport. And so I didn't know how long it was going to take me, so I did sit in the parking lot for a while. Luckily, my mom's flight wasn't early, but I did get a decent bit done then. So, operator malfunction. Super cute. Love it. Cannot wait to touch it again. So then, that was the 8th. The 9th was Aphrodite. Now, this one is one that I have been wanting to start for so long. It is so pretty. I found it just a couple months ago, not even a couple months ago, on the Heaven and Earth Design website. But absolutely fell in love with it. Bought it right away. I bought this beautiful cool gray fabric right away. And I was super excited to start it. So then I went over to my parents' house for dinner, and we had guests, and so we were all just sitting there chatting, and I was stitching. So I got a decent amount done on that one. Now, let's get that out of the way for the most part. So, got a lot done. This about right here is the edge of one page, and about right here is the edge of the page, the bottom edge of the page. So, did get quite a bit done on that one. Very excited. Lots of purples. Got to work with lots of purples, and that was awesome. And I was really sad to have to put this one away until the end of May. Again, it's another one of those. I don't really like Heaven and Earth Designs, and I guess it's got to do with familiarity, because Heaven and Earth Designs has been my go-to designer for cross stitch for years and years. And so I'm very familiar with the way they look and how they stitch, but every time I've started a Heaven and Earth design, I've been so excited to work on it, and whenever I'm starting not a Heaven and Earth design, I've been kind of meh about starting it. I don't know. But anyway, Aphrodite. And then, so that was the 9th. So then on the 10th, which was Mother's Day, I went over to my parents' house again, because Mother's Day dinner, and I started on my seasonal teapots. And so I knew that there were a lot of blues, so I went over and started working on mostly blues. And this is how far I got. It's a few hundred stitches. I'm really liking the way it looks against the screen fabric. The only thing is, while you're stitching it, you're focused on like the blue, and your eyes get really accustomed to the blue, and so you don't see the green as much, and you're just like, why did I pick this fabric? When you step back and look at it with the green, it looks really pretty. So that was the 10th, Mother's Day. Then yesterday was the 11th. And I didn't do a ton of stitching. Yesterday was just kind of a meh kind of day. So for dinner I made carrots, and I ate carrots for dinner. Granted, they were Cracker Barrel recipe carrots, but that was just the kind of day it was like, don't have any food in the house. I'm still not going to cook a meal. I'm just going to cook carrots and eat carrots for dinner. So that's what I did. Carrots take a lot longer to cook than I thought, so I didn't have dinner until like 8 p.m., but also, didn't get a ton done. I mean, there's 60, 70 stitches there in that purple. This is Gluttony, by the way. So, the next to the 7 Deadly Sins is Gluttony. So she's all pinks, and then the darker pinks and magentas for the corners. So barely got a start on her, but it was a start, which is all that matters. So that is all I have done. Let's see what's coming up. Today, I know I'm working on a Dimensions kit, which is Victorian house. Really liking this one. I've already kind of started it just cause. So I'm liking it, but you'll have to wait to see the progress for another 4 days. So, and then tomorrow is a Mirabilia called Christmas in London. That one I'm super excited about. She's so pretty, and I really like the fabric I picked for her. So I'm excited about that one. And then the 14th, so the day after, will be Mini Alternative Reality, which is a Heaven and Earth design that I've had in my stash for ages. And for some reason, I have it stuck in my head that I want to do this on Black Ada. Black Ada. Black fabric. Oh my goodness, I'm insane. Which I'm already kind of insane because I've been stitching on this charcoal gray, which is very close to black. And it's like a 32 or a 36 count, I can't remember exactly which. Maybe it's a 30 count. Anyway, it's very dark and very tiny, so I'm hoping that the Ada, which is an 18 count, won't be as bad. So, yeah, hoping it won't be as bad. And then the day after that is Lust. So the next of my 7 deadly sins. And Lust, I believe, is all these icy blues. So that one might be interesting. Will be interesting. So those are my plans for the next few days. Hopefully things won't get super crazy. You know, I was thinking, oh, I don't have a job. It'll be easier for me to keep track of Maynia and to stay on track and keep posting and all that kind of stuff. No. You know, it's tough. It's tough not having a job because it means I have no schedule, which means I have a tendency to just do what I want, and sometimes I just don't feel like filming, sometimes I don't feel like cross-stitching, and you know, it's not good, because yes, I should be doing what makes me happy, because looking for a job is tough emotionally. It's really exhausting to look for a job constantly. And so, you know, I'm trying to do what makes me happy. When I'm not doing that specific task, I'm trying to just do things that make me happy, eat foods that make me happy, within reason. So, you know, obviously I can't go out very often, or pretty much at all, really. But within budget, I'm making dishes that I know I will enjoy. So, you know, making spaghetti sauce and making pasta fagioli, which is an Italian soup. So that's what I'm making tonight. Very excited. It's traditionally made with like Italian sausage and vegetables and pasta. And it's a tomato-based soup. But I make it with ground beef, and it's very yummy, and it makes a ton, and I can freeze it. So, yeah, that is what I'm doing. Hopefully I'll be a little bit better. I'm getting back into a rhythm, I think. So, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It'll go how it goes. And that's it. Sorry for rambling. I'm a rambler. So yeah, I will see you all in a few days, hopefully, and go ahead and like this video and subscribe, turn on notifications if you want to see more, and I will talk to you all very soon. Bye.